Give me the inheritance my dad left for me. I shouted, my voice trembling but firm, echoing through the living room. My mother, Patricia, turned slowly from the kitchen sink. The morning sun streamed through the window, painting her tired face in a golden glow. She had aged faster than her years, the lines around her eyes deeper than I remembered. "What did you just say, Monica?" she asked, her voice calm but laced with a sharp edge. I stood my ground, fists clenched. "You heard me, Mum. Daddy left something for me before he passed. I want it. Now." The air grew heavy between us. My siblings, David, Lorraine, and Cynthia, sat on the couch, their eyes wide, their mouths half open. They knew this storm had been brewing since Daddy's funeral, but nobody had dared light the fire until now. My father, Richard Carter, wasn't a rich man by the world's standards, but to us, he was everything. He owned a modest trucking business and had some savings tucked away. Before his sudden death, he often told me, "Monica, when I'm gone, don't let nobody take what belongs to you." I thought it was just talk. But at his funeral, whispers spread about a will, an account, maybe even property. Every time I asked Mum, she brushed me off with, "Don't worry about grown folks' business." But I wasn't a child anymore. At 25, with bills piling up and dreams put on hold, I needed answers. Mum dried her hands on a towel and faced me. "Your daddy left things for this family. Not just you. And as long as I'm alive, I'm in charge of it." Her words burned. "But Daddy told me. He said he set aside something for me specifically. Why are you hiding it?" David jumped in, his deep voice booming. "Monica, stop disrespecting Mum. Ain't nothing for you alone. Daddy worked for all of us." I glared at him. David always sided with Mum, no matter what. Lorraine, quiet as always, lowered her gaze, while Cynthia smirked like she enjoyed watching me squirm. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing Daddy's voice in my head, telling me not to let anyone take what belonged to me. I remembered the last conversation we had before he died. He was sitting on the porch, coughing lightly, but his eyes were strong. "Monica, promise me you'll finish school. I've put something aside to help you. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise." I promised. And now I was ready to fight for it. Weeks later, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I went to see Mr. Thompson, Daddy's old lawyer. The man was gray-haired, slow in movement, but sharp in mind. "Monica," he said after checking his files, "your father indeed left a will. It specifies that a certain account was to be handed over to you when you turned 25. My chest tightened. "So Mum knew." He sighed. "Yes. Your mother has control of the estate until you demand it legally. But the account is yours." I felt both relieved and angry. Relieved Daddy hadn't lied, angry that Mum had kept it from me. Armed with this truth, I returned home. This time I didn't shout. I walked into the living room where Mum sat sewing, the other children nearby. "Mr. Thompson showed me the will," I said flatly. Mum froze. The needle in her hand dropped. "You went behind my back?" "I went for the truth," I replied. "Daddy left me something, and I want it now." Cynthia hissed, "Selfish much? Daddy worked for all of us, not just you." Lorraine finally spoke. "If the will says it, then it's hers. Mum, you can't hide it forever." David stood, fists clenched. "You tearing this family apart, Monica." I stared at Mum, waiting for her to choose between truth and control. Mum's lips trembled. She tried to gather her strength, but I saw the cracks. "Monica," she whispered, "I only wanted to protect you. Money changes people. It tears families apart." I swallowed hard. But keeping it from me did the same thing. Her silence said everything. The truth was out, but she wasn't ready to let go. After that day, The Carter household was never the same. Meals were quiet, filled with tension. David wouldn't look me in the eye. Cynthia muttered insults under her breath whenever I walked past. Lorraine stayed out of the house as much as she could. And Mum just watched me, her eyes full of something between love and fear. One night, I heard her praying out loud. Lord, guide me. Don't let this family fall apart. But it already had. 2 weeks later, Mr. Thompson sent a formal letter addressed to me and Mum. It clearly stated that a savings account and small investment Daddy had set up was legally mine now that I was 25. The letter gave Mum 30 days to release the funds or face legal consequences. When I handed it to her, her hands shook. So you'd drag your own mother to court? Tears welled in my eyes. I don't want that. But I won't let Daddy's wishes be ignored. The news spread fast among my siblings. David confronted me first. You greedy. You don't care about family. All you see is dollar signs. I snapped back. This isn't greed. It's mine. Daddy wanted me to have it. Cynthia added fuel to the fire. Maybe Daddy knew you couldn't survive without handouts. Always the baby, always needing something. I turned to Lorraine, hoping for support. She sighed and whispered, Monica, I get it, but maybe you should share it with us. Keep the peace. Her words cut deep. Even she doubted me. Just when things felt unbearable, Aunt Evelyn, Daddy's older sister, came to visit. She was a strong woman, tall, with a voice that commanded respect. She sat us all down in the living room. Patricia, you wrong for hiding that girl's inheritance. Richard told me himself before he passed. He wanted Monica to be secure. Y'all can fight all you want, but the will is the will. Mum lowered her eyes. My siblings glared at me, but for once, someone was on my side. That night, unable to sleep, I climbed into the attic. Dusty boxes filled the space. Daddy's old hats, ledgers, even faded photographs. I found a shoebox with letters he had written but never mailed. In one, addressed to me, he wrote, Monica, if you're reading this, I'm probably gone. Don't let nobody, not even your mum, make you doubt your worth. I believe in you. Tears spilled down my cheeks. This fight wasn't just about money. It was about Daddy's faith in me. A few days later, Mum called me into her room. She sat on the edge of her bed, looking weary. I didn't tell you everything, she said softly. Your father and I argued about that account. He said you needed it for your future. I said we had other children to think about. He never forgave me for resisting. When he died, I couldn't face letting go. It felt like losing him all over again. I sat beside her, torn between anger and sympathy. Mum, I understand your pain. But keeping it from me only made me feel like you never believed in me. Her eyes brimmed with tears. I've always believed in you. I just didn't trust the world around you. The 30-day deadline came closer. Mr. Thompson filed court papers, and Mum received the notice. The house erupted again. David accused me of betrayal. Cynthia refused to eat with me. Lorraine stayed silent, torn in the middle. But Mum didn't fight. She folded the letter quietly, as if surrendering. When I asked her why, she whispered, Because your father's voice is louder in my heart than my pride. I'll give it to you. On a rainy Thursday afternoon, Mum and I walked into the bank together. My siblings stayed home, too bitter to join us. The banker pulled up the account details. I could hardly breathe as the numbers flashed on the screen. It wasn't millions, but it was enough to pay off my debts, go back to school, and build something for myself. As the banker handed me the documents, Mum placed her hand over mine. Don't let this money tear you apart from your family, Monica. Use it the way your daddy intended. I nodded, tears falling. For the first time in months, I felt Daddy's presence close to me. But I also knew the fight with my siblings had only just begun. When Mum and I returned from the bank, the house was like a battlefield. David's face turned red when he saw the documents in my hand. "So you got it? You really took it?" "Yes," I said quietly. Cynthia spat on the floor, shaking her head. "Daddy must be rolling in his grave." Mum raised her voice. "Enough. Your father left it for her, and I should have respected that from the start. This argument is over." But deep down, I knew it wasn't. The first thing I did was pay off my student loans. Then I enrolled back into college, determined to finish my degree in business administration, Daddy's dream for me. But the money also brought jealousy. Cynthia told neighbors I had stolen the family savings. David refused to speak to me at all. Lorraine stayed neutral, but I saw the disappointment in her eyes. It wasn't just money, it was a wound that wouldn't close. One Sunday after church, Cynthia cornered me in the parking lot. "You think you better than us now? Walking around with new clothes, acting like some queen." I sighed. "Cynthia, I'm just trying to live Daddy's dream." She jabbed a finger at my chest. "You don't care about Daddy. You just wanted the money. If you cared, you would have shared." Her words pierced me, but I didn't reply. Deep down, I wondered, should I have shared? Weeks later, Lorraine slipped a letter under my door. In it, she confessed how torn she felt. "Monica, I know the will was clear, but our family's broken now. I wish Daddy had left us equal parts, or nothing at all. Maybe then we wouldn't be like this. I don't hate you, but I can't stand the fighting anymore." I cried after reading it. Daddy's gift, meant to build my future, had fractured us instead. Stress weighed heavy on Mum. One evening, she collapsed in the kitchen. We rushed her to the hospital, where the doctor said her blood pressure was dangerously high. Sitting by her bed, I held her hand. "Mum, I never wanted this," she whispered. "Promise me you won't let this inheritance destroy the family. Money comes and goes, but family is forever." I nodded, but inside I wondered, was it too late? While Mum was in the hospital, David confronted me in the waiting room. His voice shook with rage. "You're killing her, Monica. All this stress, all this fighting, it's because of you and that money." I clenched my fists. "Don't blame me for Mum's health. Daddy made the choice, not me." But David leaned close, his eyes burning. "If Mum dies, it'll be on your head." Those words haunted me for nights. I started considering giving a portion of the inheritance to my siblings. Not because I had to, but to restore peace. I spoke with Aunt Evelyn about it. She shook her head firmly. "Don't you dare. Your daddy chose you for a reason. Giving them money won't heal the wound. It'll only make them resent you more. Use it wisely, and let your success be the blessing." Her words stayed with me. Maybe Daddy didn't just want me to have money. Maybe he wanted me to rise above all of this. I threw myself into school. I studied harder than ever before, determined not to waste Daddy's sacrifice. Slowly, professors noticed my work, and I earned a scholarship for the next semester. For the first time, I felt proud. Not just because of the money, but because I was proving myself. Still, every victory felt lonely without my siblings cheering me on. One evening, Lorraine invited me for coffee. She sat across from me, nervous but gentle. "I've been thinking," she said. "Maybe I judged you too harshly. Daddy wanted you to succeed. Maybe that's your way of carrying all of us forward." I grabbed her hand. "Lorraine, I don't want to lose you. You're my sister." She smiled faintly. "You haven't lost me. But David and Cynthia, that's another story." Mum, freshly discharged from the hospital, called all of us together. We gathered in the living room, the air thick with tension. I won't leave this earth with my children hating each other, Mum declared. Your father left that inheritance to Monica, and that's final. But what matters is how we move forward as a family. David folded his arms. Cynthia rolled her eyes. Lorraine stayed calm beside me. Mum's voice grew firm. Either y'all let go of this bitterness, or you'll tear this family apart forever. Silence fell. For the first time, I realized the inheritance wasn't the real battle. The real fight was whether love was strong enough to heal us. After Mum's words, the living room went quiet. Nobody dared to speak first. I stared at my siblings, hoping to see even a flicker of reconciliation. David's jaw tightened. I hear you, Mum. But I can't just forget what she did. Cynthia scoffed. Same here. Y'all can play family all you want, but I know betrayal when I see it. Mum closed her eyes and whispered, Lord, soften their hearts. The weeks that followed were tense, but Lorraine continued reaching out to me. She'd visit my campus, check on my classes, even bring me lunch sometimes. One afternoon she said, You know, Daddy might have chosen you to carry us all. Maybe he knew you'd be the one to break the cycle. Her words lifted my spirit. For the first time, I felt like maybe Daddy's decision had a bigger purpose than I'd imagined. But while Lorraine drew closer, Cynthia grew colder. I overheard her one night talking to David on the porch. She don't deserve it. We should have gone to the lawyer ourselves. Maybe there's a way to contest the will. My heart sank. They weren't done fighting. They were just getting started. Mum called me into her room again. She looked weaker, her voice softer. Monica, she said, don't let anger poison you. Your siblings are hurting. Sometimes jealousy is just pain with no place to go. If you want peace, you have to live in a way that honors both your father and your family. I nodded, tears in my eyes. I'll try, Mum. 2 years passed. With hard work and sleepless nights, I finally graduated. The inheritance had allowed me to study without fear of debt. On graduation day, Aunt Evelyn and Lorraine stood cheering in the crowd. Mum, frail but smiling, clapped with pride. David and Cynthia didn't show up. Their absence left a hollow ache in my heart. Still, I walked across that stage with Daddy's voice echoing inside me, I believe in you. After graduation, I returned home hoping to celebrate together. But David wouldn't even sit at the same table as me. Cynthia stormed out as soon as she saw me. Mum's eyes filled with tears. I raised y'all better than this. Is money really worth more than blood? No one answered. I used the remaining inheritance to start a small logistics company, something Daddy would have been proud of. Trucks with the Carter name on the side rolled out across town. The business grew slowly but surely. For the first time, I wasn't just surviving, I was building. But every success seemed to push David and Cynthia further away. They said I was flaunting my fortune, even though I lived simply. As Mum's health declined, she made one final request. Lying in her hospital bed, she whispered, I don't want to leave this world with my children divided. Promise me, Monica, that at my funeral you'll bring them together, even if just for a moment. I held her hand tightly. I promise, Mum. When Mum passed, the whole neighborhood came to her funeral. David and Cynthia sat stiffly on one side, Lorraine beside me on the other. During the eulogy, I stood before the crowd. My voice trembled but grew stronger as I spoke. Mum always taught us that family matters more than anything. Daddy believed in me, but he also believed in us. This inheritance wasn't meant to divide, it was meant to build. If I've failed to show that, I'm sorry. But I want peace. For Mum's sake. For Daddy's sake. Silence filled the church. Then, for the first time in years, David's eyes softened. Cynthia wiped her face, though she tried to hide it. After the burial, we stood around Mum's grave. David finally spoke. I still don't agree with how things went down. But I can't keep hating you, Monica. Mum wouldn't want that. Cynthia crossed her arms, but her voice cracked. I don't forgive you yet. But I ain't walking away either. Lorraine placed her arms around all of us. This is what Mum wanted. We don't have to be perfect, but we do have to be family. Standing there, I realized the inheritance had never really been about money. It was about whether love could outlast bitterness. The road to healing would be long, but for the first time, I believed it was possible. After Mum's funeral, the house felt emptier than ever. The walls carried her prayers, her laughter, her discipline, and her love. Without her, silence filled every corner. I decided to move into my own place, a small apartment not far from the trucking office. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine, a symbol of independence. For the first time, I felt both free and burdened. Daddy's inheritance had set me on a new path, but it also carried the weight of broken relationships. One Saturday morning, as I was checking on the company trucks, David pulled up in his old pickup. My chest tightened, expecting another argument. But instead, he extended his hand. I've been thinking. You did what Daddy asked. And I can't lie, the business you're running. Daddy would be proud. I shook his hand, tears stinging my eyes. That means more than you know, David. He nodded slowly. Maybe we can work together. I still know trucks, you know. For the first time, I saw not my rival, but my brother. Cynthia was the hardest to reach. She avoided family gatherings, refused my calls, and when she did speak, her words were sharp. But then one day, Lorraine told me Cynthia had lost her job. Without hesitation, I drove to her place and offered to help. She sneered at first. So now you want to throw your money in my face? I shook my head. No, Cynthia. I just want to be your sister. The money doesn't mean anything if it costs me you. Her eyes softened for a moment before she turned away. She didn't accept my help that day, but a seed had been planted. Years passed, and the business grew. What started with 2 trucks expanded into a fleet across the state. I hired drivers from our community, giving young people jobs just like Daddy once dreamed. David eventually joined me as operations manager. Working side by side, we rebuilt not just the company, but our brother-sister bond. Lorraine became my biggest supporter, often reminding me, see? Daddy knew you'd carry the torch. Even Cynthia began visiting, little by little. She'd stop by family dinners, bringing her famous cornbread, though she still teased me about being Daddy's favorite. The wound hadn't fully healed, but it was no longer bleeding. On the anniversary of Mum's death, the 4 of us gathered at her grave. The air was still, the sky painted with soft evening colors. I placed fresh flowers on her stone and whispered, Mum, I kept my promise. We're not perfect, but we're together. David bowed his head in silence. Lorraine wiped her tears. Cynthia finally spoke, her voice trembling. I still don't like how things happened, but you've done good, Monica. Real good. In that moment, I felt Daddy and Mum's presence, like they were standing with us, smiling, proud. The inheritance had once divided us, but it had also pushed me to grow, to lead, to build. And those scars remained, love began to shine through them. I realized then, Daddy didn't just leave me money. He left me a mission, a legacy, and I intended to carry it for the rest of my life.